Hello, cherished viewers. Welcome to my program, Mining for the Truth. Joseph Atta is my name from Ghana, West Africa. Mining for the Truth refers to the process of digging to discover the undiluted doctrines of Christ, our 10th Church of Christ. The page has two purposes as follows. One, to teach the word. John 1 verse 1, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. You can prove this going to Genesis 1 verse 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The plural Hebrew word for God there is Elohim, God the Father, God the Son, the Word Jesus Christ, God the Holy Spirit. Elohim suggests God of creation. 2, God is powerful. Second objective, to teach the truth as can be seen on the screen. John 8:32. And you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. What is the truth? John 17:17. Sanctify them by your truth. Your word is truth. What is the truth manifestation? John 14 verse 6. And Jesus said to him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. To tell you that there is only one way can be proved in Acts 4 verse 12 that there is no other name under which we are being saved except Jesus Christ. So this means except by me or except through me. I thank all my viewers for viewing the videos and sharing. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Mining for the Truth, and follow the page on Facebook, Mining for the Truth. Thank you, the entire world. Now I'm everywhere. In fact, I'm grateful that you've been viewing my videos. Thank you so much. I wonder because nowadays people hate the truth. I welcome UMAT Campus Church, Eccl. All members are welcome. Doris Odonko, Mrs. Atta, you're welcome to the program. I love you so much, and I know you also love me. Everything is going to be alright. I always tell you, let's keep hoping, trusting, and having faith in God through prayers. At the right time, your requests shall be answered. Stella Baba Edu is also a wife. You are also welcome to the program. Precious Obin Mensa, you are also welcome. And all the remaining wives that I couldn't mention, you are all welcome. I love you so much, actually. And I know you love me too. In psychology, it is called natural law of successive approximation, which means true love, which is equated in mutualism. Having said that, we continue our studies in the book of Ecclesiastes. We are down to chapter 5, episode 2. We mean the pedagogy of chapter 5, episode 2. Today, we are continuing to chapter 6. And chapter 6 is not that lengthy. So, it will not be in episodes. When I am done, I am done. Myself, Mary York. You are welcome to the program. God bless you so much for everything that you have done for me. You started taking care of me when I was in JSS. When I began my technical education, you sponsored me. When I started Takwari Polytechnic, then now TTU, you sponsored me. And you also sponsored my university education. I mean my 4-year education at the University of Kumasi. You still sponsor me. Your main objective is that I succeed in life. I thank you for still holding on to me. She brings me a lot that I cannot mention. God bless you so much. Long life, progress, good health, and prosperity. Mama, I salute. and you are welcome to the program. I love you so much. Now, we move on to chapter 6 of the book, Living a Meaningful Life in a Meaningless World. So the word Ecclesiastes 6, verse 1 to 12, in paraphrasing, is that living a meaningful life in a meaningless world. So you can imagine, meaningful life in a meaningless world. So the word is meaningless. It goes nowhere. Whatever we are fighting for, as I've been saying, from infancy to death, you walk, you crawl, you walk, you go to school, you marry, you give birth, you grow old, you die. Simple. So from dust to the dust. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 19 to 20, Genesis 2 verse 7, this is Genesis 3 verse 19. Yeah, I'm sure. Yes. Genesis 3 verse 19. Let's check if it is 19 or 9. I don't want to contradict myself. Genesis 3 verse 19. Oh, very good. So from dust that we were made, from dust that we are also returned. I think that one was captured in the chapter 3, I think episode 2 or so. So we are done with that one. Living a meaningful life in a meaningless world. The word is meaningless. Now, it is meaningless when you live a life without regard for God. It is meaningful when you live a life with regard for God. Enjoyment as a gift of God is far preferable to accumulating many possessions or attempting to be wise enough to explain very mystery and master every eventuality. So, chasing after the wind or chasing the wind, we run helter-skelter. All what we are doing is more or less that we have something ahead of us that we are striving to achieve. And someone is saying that it is meaningless because it is chasing after the wind. The satisfaction and enjoyment of which he speaks in Ecclesiastes 5 verse 18 to 20. I'm trying to summarize. If I've observed, I start each chapter with recap from the previous chapter. It's not in the abundance of things or the lack of them which one receives, but in accepting it gratefully and trustingly as the lot which God has granted. God grants everything. You can't do anything in your own abundance. God provides. So we say God's providence. That's all. You can do nothing. Now, in chapter 6, Solomon returns to his warnings about the emptiness of wealth, which seem as life's meaning and purpose. Wealth is empty because it offers nothing. Wealth cannot even guarantee or extend your lifespan on earth. He has already pressed home 3 brutal facts about wealth. So let's look from Ecclesiastes 5, verse 10 to 17. 1, it will never satisfy human spirit. Ecclesiastes 5, verse 10 is saying that wealth can never satisfy the human spirit. Ecclesiastes 5, verse 10. Even though we are recapping, I prefer to read at least to those who could not join the previous lesson. Ecclesiastes 5 verse 10. He who loves silver will not be satisfied with silver, nor he who loves abundance with increase. This is also vanity. So there's no contentment. That's why we say that it will never, the word is it will never, never ever and never ever satisfy human spirit. The spirit will demand for more. 2, it is fleeting and uncertain. 5 verse 13 to 14. The wealth that you are worshipping is fleeting and uncertain. there is a severe evil which I have seen under the sun, riches kept for their owner to his head. 14. But those riches perish through misfortune. When he begat a son, there is nothing in his hand. So it will perish. Then number 3. Death will inevitably steal it all away. Verse 16 to 17 of the Ecclesiastes. And this also is a severe evil. Just exactly as he came, so shall he go. And what profit has he who has labored for the wind? All his days he also eats in darkness, and he has much sorrow and sickness and then anger. Okay, so the 18 is not among. So at least we have now known the 3 brutal facts of words. 1, it will never satisfy the human spirit. 2, we say that it is fleeting and then uncertain. Then the last one, death will steal it all away. So it is uncertain. It comes and then it goes. God gives a man riches in such abundance as to fulfill all his desires, but then deprives him of the ability to enjoy it. That privilege falls to others, to strangers, rather than his own children. Sometimes, the person who is making money is not satisfied, and thinking that maybe the inheritance will go to your lineage, may rather be elsewhere. Perhaps he squandered the opportunity to enjoy it while he has it because he was busy trying to get more. He wasted time. So I'm trying to explain what I just said. He wasted time to enjoy it. People don't have time to enjoy what they have even labored for. It is true. They keep on adding, they keep on accumulating. The soul is never satisfied, or the spirit, the spirit in us is never content. So he wasted the opportunity. That's why he said he squandered the opportunity to enjoy it while he has it because he was busy trying to get more, to pile up. Some even died because of lack of rest. Yeah, they don't rest. They desire, the avid interest to gather more, prevent them from even resting. Sometimes they go to the clinic, they are advised to rest, and still they will continue. It will kill them, actually. Or perhaps it was due to no fault of his own. Maybe it wasn't his fault. Maybe it wasn't his fault. You could be under pressure. The person could be under pressure. And we are all under pressure. At least in the morning, you wake up to go to work. Why? Because you have a family to feed. So you are under pressure. That's why you may not have the opportunity to enjoy. How many men are able to enjoy their own money? They are preoccupied. They carry the burden of their family, nuclear, and then the extended. So sometimes it becomes even very difficult for the husband to use part of his money to buy something good to drink to nourish his own inner soul or spirit. It becomes so difficult because the money is not even able to meet the home needs or the finances in his life. And sometimes they even keep on borrowing. Time and chance happen to all. Men of ability are overtaken by time and chance. Yes. Weak and strong. Ecclesiastes 9 verse 11 is saying that time and chance happen to everyone. Why does God let such things happen? God's providence is often quite impenetrable for those of us under the sun. Do they actually occur? It's a question. Yes, Job comes quickly to mind. He was a righteous man and rich, yet God allowed him to lose all his wealth and children. It was agonizing experience for Job, and God never explained to him the reason why. Yes. So you and I cannot question God. Time and chance happen to everybody. Your time of sorrow will come. Your time of joy too will come. It is not about being poor or rich. Now, don't think that only the rich sometimes faces misfortunes. No. But the poor, they even suffer than the rich man. Because the rich man has something to rely on. But the poor person, sometimes while the person is not having any money, then is where problems start to occur in his or her family. And you are demanded everywhere. One person. That's why we think that time and chance happen to everyone. Try to know that misfortune can happen to either the rich or the poor, the weak and the strong. Good things or fortune too can also happen to them likewise. So Job here is an example. His wealth and health were restored, but only after he had learned to trust God, whatever his material situation. Yes, God never. Have you ever seen the Bible? Why can you prove in the Bible that God explained to Job why he allowed calamity to fall or to befall on him? He never explained. So this is a warning to you that when you are following God, things will not be straight. It is not by fault that God should provide for you. These are things that you must know. You must carry your cross and follow the Son. So the purpose of preaching or standing for God is not about to become wealthy or to enjoy life. No. At least our focus is heaven. So all what we are doing, all the suffering, the intimidation, the insults, the underestimation, you are aware that your life is, is behind your peers. They are far gone. Maybe because of following God. Maybe God will never explain to you, but you are hereby informed that the end reward is that, the vision is to go to heaven. So don't think that we worship God, we follow God, we work for God, we die for God because we want prosperity in life. No. As a Christian, you don't even have to even vision this, because all what we are acquiring, someone is saying that they are all fleeting, they are meaningless. Vanity upon vanity, all are vanity, or vanities upon vanities, all are vanity. So, but only after he had learned to trust God, whatever his material situation, Job trusted in God, full trust. The wife came to discourage him, friends came, and he still stood his ground. The Christian must be grounded, or you can say grounded in faith. You must be cemented in faith. Your wife, your husband, your children, your mother, your father, your friends, they can all query you. They can all be against you. All because of a calamity upon you. But if you're a Christian, you know why you are facing so, and you don't stand anywhere to accuse God. I think if you read about Matthew 6 verse 25, why worry? Bible is saying that the Christian who doubts God in his or her affliction has denied God. It means that you're trying to underestimate that God does not care for you. He cannot save you. It is not true. He knows what he's doing. So you don't worry when you compare Matthew 6 verse 25. Even though you are suffering, the Bible is saying that do not worry. Period. Now we're going to look at a parable in Luke 12:16 to 21. Of course, of I would say a man, young ruler, who gained a lot. He gained a lot. So it's a parable of the rich farmer, of course, as Jesus is trying to remind us. Now let's read Luke 12, verse 16 to 21. Then he spoke a parable to them, saying, the ground of a certain rich man yielded plentifully. And he thought within himself, saying, what shall I do, since I have no room to store my crops? So he said, I will do this. I will pull down my barns and build greater, and there I will store all my crops and my goods. 19. And I will say to my soul, soul, you have many goods laid up for many years. Take your ease, eat, drink, and be merry. He was relying on himself. So verse 20. But God said to him, fool, this very night, your soul will be required of you. Then whose will those things be which you have provided? When you die, so those of you who are relying on your money is your security. You are famous because of money. You attend program because of money. People know you because of money. All your appointments are because of money that you have. So it means that your money is your security. You eat what you want. You drive a car to somewhere to eat, to drink. Some can waste money to buy only a drink. Someone can drive maybe from that to Cape Coast to go and then eat at a job bar because he has money. He waste fuel to and fro because he has money. So he doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know what to do. Same thing happened to the rich farmer in the Bible. That God, the Son, used and is using to advise you and I. Now, I have 5 lessons. The parable teaches us to 1, eliminate greed. To eliminate greed. Why am I saying greed? Because he piled and piled, means that he didn't share. He piled and piled and piled. So see what he said. Now my soul can eat what it wants. Means that he is now at the apex of his accomplishment. So we are learning that 1, you must eliminate greed. 2, live generously and share our possessions with the rightful needy. He didn't share. He did not share. That's why I said he was greed. Or we are being taught of greediness. He refused to share. The rightful needy is a person who is actually in need. Some are rich. They share with the rich. I won't say it is a sin, but it can be wrong because the person is already having. I think rather you should share it with the poor. The poor here becomes, we don't, there's a right word for them. I've forgotten. But you can say poor. Oh, I've forgotten it. Less needy also. I've forgotten because there are some instances, if you say poor, then it becomes an insult to the person. But you use less needy than the person who is rich. The person who is rich has everything. You are going to give the person a goat already. He has a goat already. What you are presenting, he has already. So live generously and share our possessions with the rightful needy. Now today, prioritization of spiritual richness over material wealth. Let's read verse 19 and see something here. And I will say to my soul, soul, you have many goods laid up for many years. Take your ease, eat, drink, and be merry. So he was in the flesh. That's why we are saying that prioritization of spiritual richness over material wealth. His interest was on what he had acquired. People have put their trust in their wealth. Money can't save your life, cannot expand your lifespan. The rich are dying. The poor too are dying. 4, avoid thinking we are self-sufficient without God. So verse 20. But God said to him, "Fool, this night your soul will be required of you." God gave the soul. God created Adam. Then he breathed into him. I think, let's go to Genesis 2 verse 7 and say something, if I'm not lying. Okay. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living being. God created human beings. He created Adam, and from Adam, procreation. So now we are also here. Of course, we continue the lineage. We die, next generation, in that order. God is no longer wasting time to form human beings using the clay from the ground. Rather, he uses what we call reproduction. And reproduction, in terms of biology, is the ability of living things to produce young ones of their own kinds. So human beings give birth to human beings. Animals give birth to animals, unless otherwise. But naturally, when mating occurs between an animal and an animal of the same species, they must give birth to young one of their own kind. If a man mates with a woman, the woman will give birth to young one of their own kind. That's the sense of reproduction in terms of biology. Of course, you must study everywhere before you read the Bible. Then number 5, comprehend that God is the giver of life. God gives life. He was not supposed to rely on himself. That my soul is at ease. Eat and make merry. So he was relying on himself. He did not recognize God in his abundance. So God said, "You are a fool. This night your soul," the soul was given by God. God gives, God takes. Some people were tempted to be killed. God saved them. Unless it was your time to die. You can shoot someone, the bullet will penetrate, maybe even sometimes the heart. The person will survive. And one person will be shot maybe at the leg, and then he dies. The heart and then the leg, which one is more dangerous? So God monitors the soul. Unless he grants permission, you cannot kill a human because you didn't create it. In our pursuit of the things that feed the physical man, we must remember that we are far more than that. Above all, the spirit must be fed. For as Moses said to Israel, and Jesus repeated to Satan. If you go to Matthew 4 verse 4, then Deuteronomy 8 verse 3, man shall not live by bread alone. I'm certain that Deuteronomy 8 verse 3, Matthew 4 verse 4. Man shall not live by bread alone. So the soul must be fed as well. Man shall not live by bread alone. I wouldn't want to read because already I've mentioned the quotation. Now let's move on to where we left. We are almost ending. Today is not much. Now, we can now go to Ecclesiastes 6 verse 10 to 12. The preacher addresses the helplessness of fighting against divine providence. It is quite interesting. Nowadays, life is in a competition. Unless one person does not see that his fellow person has transcended in life, hey, then he's challenged or she's challenged to also pursue and gain, maybe even surpass this colleague. So here we say that the helplessness of fighting against divine providence unless God grants. There's time for everything. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1 downwards. There is time for everything. Now let me use maybe a plantain for example. You see that some will start to grow to bear fruit before the other. The one which starts earlier to bear fruit dies, then the next continues in that order. When you see a mango tree, not all will ripe at the same time. Some will ripe earlier to be plucked before others too will ripe. At times we have two attached, maybe on the same branch. One will ripe and the other will not be ripe. So it is. These are called God's providence. So you don't have to force yourself to be recognized or to also progress in life, but rather we wait until it is God's time. Now we move on. We may struggle against the nature of this broken world beneath the sun, which God has purposely brought to vanity. Romans 8:20. I think this has been read and read and read and read and read and read. All what we are saying is that God has created us with the hope that we will see that only through Him that life is given. So we will draw closer to Him. But however, human beings are not so. We tend to rely on ourselves. So death is a gracious one with the hope that living things will return to God so that He sustains us. But rather we rely on our own. In conclusion, we are saying that it is hopeless struggle. As all the past proclaims, mere man cannot contend with God. You cannot. You can't contend with God. People who have studied sciences, traveled to space and moon and others, they couldn't see God. And some even concluded that God does not exist. So there's no way that you can understand God. It is an exercise in futility. You are wasting your time. It is. You are wasting your effort. There's nothing that you can do. God alone knows and holds the future, and He alone knows what is good for man in life. God provides. So we wait for Him to provide as He wants. Our task, as cannot be missed in this great book, is simply to trust Him and do His will. All God wants is that we trust in Him. We cannot rely on ourselves. So let's remember the rich farmer in Luke 12 verse 16 to 21 that we are not supposed to rely on our own. Having said that, my name is Joseph Atta, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.